Yeah, here we go.
2 wins in a row. Do you feel, I know we talked a little bit after Tulsa, maybe a little more hop in their step. I mean, has that even grown a little bit more?
I think so. I mean, it started really back when we played Navy, played well, obviously played very competitively against Cincinnati, just didn't get the job done, and then Tulsa, and then now last week. So, winning 3 out of our last 4, and we feel like we're playing better football and getting a little momentum. But, nothing from Saturday, good or bad, for either side of the ball is going to transfer to this Saturday. So we got to go out and re-earn it again.
Do you feel like the guys can build even more confidence getting a win to kick off November? I mean, it's kind of just been a tough month for them in the past.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we talked about. November's for finishers. Last week against Houston was our first opportunity to do that. So we got the first one, but we got 3 other tough ones ahead of us, and we got 3 games in about the next 16, 17 days. And but yeah, I mean, winning breeds confidence always.
Kind of with that, I don't know if trap game's the right word or if that's even really a thing overall, but going into a game like this, how do you keep the guys focused against a team that struggled, coaching change, and all that?
It's a tough deal. I mean, Jeff Scott was a good friend of mine, or is a good friend of mine, so I hate that for him and that program and all those coaches, because they're good people. It's a weird deal because they've got talent. I mean, they played Cincinnati to a 4-point game. They were kicking a field goal to go to overtime at Florida. They put 30-something points on Tulane, who's the best defense in our league. So they've been close a lot. And then, when you got an interim coach, you got a new DC, it's actually harder than even a first game of the year for us. I'm sure they'll come out, and they're a 4-down front team. I'm sure they'll come out and play odd front. They're a zone team. I'm sure they'll come out and drop 8 and play man. We know we're going to get something different than what they've done. We just don't know what to expect. So there's always going to be adjustments there. And I'm sure they'll come out with, you've seen it around the country. When this happens, a lot of times a team comes out with a renewed sense of energy and kind of gets a fresh start. So it'll be important for us to, like we've talked about all week, we need to play our most complete game of the season, offense, defense, special teams this week. And so that's what we're going to try to do.
Any injuries you can update?
Yeah, Ben Redding won't be available this week. I'm pretty pretty certain he's probably not going to be back this year, unfortunately. But what an incredible, final half for him. He went to Friendswood. He's from down near Houston to catch 3 touchdowns and a half. Ben's been a stud for us. He's played hard. He's played tough. And so for him to have that game in what could be his last game, I think is pretty cool for him. We're going to miss him. But we got guys that will step up like people have done all year. Kamar should be back and available. TJ's healthier than he was the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to think who else.
Velton, Stephon Wright.
Yeah, Velton, I think he'll be available. I don't think he got injured. He played half the game and came out, so he should be available to go. And then Steph Wright's probably a game-time decision.
As far as Jordan Curley, him coming back into the offense, how much does he help just open things up?
Yeah, huge. I mean, you look at it, like I said before, we didn't play one game all year with our starting receivers all healthy, but then we didn't have him. I think it was TCU, UCF, and not having that guy opposite Rasheed is a big deal. And then even at times, Moochie's been out, and so not having him to spell Rasheed. So you saw last week, I mean, to score the amount of points we did, Rasheed played well. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, still didn't even have 100 yards. Every other guy stepped up, and we didn't have to go through one guy. We were able to just play good team football. And that's what you want to do. I mean, we know who our guy is, but when everybody's stepping up, making plays, and then Jordan gives you that opposite of him, it makes it hard to double Rasheed or shade the coverage that way because you got to worry about the other guy. So good to have him back.
And then just with Tyler, he showed that he could kind of carry it a little bit more at Tulsa, and then really did this last week. His physicality, obviously his effectiveness, just what does that bring to the offense?
It brings an edge. It brings a physical edge. Our run game the last couple of weeks has been a lot better, even when he's not in there, but just he sets that tone. He's beat up like everybody else, and you wouldn't know it. He's just a throwback, old school, downhill, physical, tough football player, and he's given us a real edge and a real confidence offensively.
With Ben out, first of all, I mean, do you see a path to coaching if playing in the league doesn't work out for him, or what do you sense from him, his mindset and everything?
I haven't asked him.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. So Ben was, I think I've said this before, Ben was the first person I went on a home visit on as the OC here. Like, I just got hired, and his home was the first home I went to. He's got a great family, so I don't know. I think give him some time to process all that, but I have no idea what his next steps are going to be, but I know he'll be successful.
Offensive line, has some of the running been an effect of them kind of maybe gelling a little bit more and getting a little more used to each other? I think Jalen started but left, but that top 6 has played a lot of football together.
They have. We've had some guys get banged up, but those top 6 have been able to always, 5 of those 6 have been available. I think our offensive line's played well all year. I mean, the way we throw the football, they've done a great job in pass protection for how we've thrown it. And in the run game, it's been weird because our running backs have been hurt, and statistically at times it's like, hey, what's wrong? Well, I feel like we've run blocked really well. We don't have a lot of TFLs. People aren't getting turned loose in the backfield. Look, to run for over 200 yards like the good running teams in the country do, you have to have runs like Belton's long run. You have to have those explosive runs, and that's what we've not had this year. We've had efficient, effective, positive runs. We just haven't had a lot of explosive runs, and that's not on the O-line. And so they've done a really good job getting hats on hats, covering people up, and giving us a chance. And I think especially since going all the way back to even the Cincinnati game, 3rd, 4th down and 1 and 2s, we've been able to get those. So like I said, I think we've been effective. I think they have gelled and gotten better. But I think, the reason we're running the ball better, obviously you insert Tyler and some other guys, I think has had a lot to do with it.
Did you notice kind of a recruiting boost after the win and the black jerseys and all that stuff? Have you guys seen
obviously the black jerseys, I think they turned out pretty good. Our guys loved them. I think they've been well received. And, I have a feeling for the next year, anytime recruits come here and want to take pictures, they're only going to want to put on the black jersey. Look, anytime you win, it's good. Anytime we win a big game against a rival, someone from another city, that is always a big game for us. That's important. It's big. So we're no different than every other program. You get a win, you're going to ride that momentum. But I think at the end of the day, I think guys see that this is still a place people want to be, and they see our players being happy and playing hard and playing well. They see our staff. And we got a lot to offer.
And then with the state playoffs starting, you guys are on the road the next 2 weeks, but I guess you could be out there on Friday after Tulane. But how much of the evaluation period is still in play for you guys, seeing guys play against the top competition and things like that?
Always. It's ongoing, So the Texas State playoffs is the best thing going in high school football. So, we'll be back. Like you said, we play Tulane on Thursday night, so we'll have a chance that Friday to get out. Our last home game on Thanksgiving weekend, we're home, so that Friday night. And then after that, we'll be able to start getting out again. So a lot of good football being played locally, maybe even some here at our place, who knows. And so we'll have a lot of opportunities to go see those guys, and the evaluation never stops.
And then just not necessarily looking forward to the opponent with a ranked Tulane coming, but with the short week, can you afford to look any differently at Saturday's game, knowing that's there? Do you just have to play for Saturday and then let Thursday come?
You got to play for Saturday. We got to find a way to beat South Florida. Like I said, offensively, we can't take any points from that game and bring it over. Same thing defensively, though, they can't take any from that game. Like we've got to go out and re-earn a victory. And against a team that, again, has fought everybody very, very hard. Travis Trick at their OC is a really, really good football coach. I think they scored over 24 points on everybody that played this year. Like, he knows what he's doing. We're going to have to play really well, and that's all our focus is. You can't ever look ahead. It doesn't matter when you play, who you play. If you look ahead, it's going to bite you.
Any tweaks with the storm hanging out there?
I didn't even honestly know about it until yesterday. It hasn't been like when we were going to play Central Florida as big of a deal. I know our conference and our administration are monitoring. It looks like it's not near as severe, hopefully, and it's going to hit and be out of the way before we play. So, we'll take it day to day. I've not heard of any adjustments. We're preparing to play Saturday at noon Eastern.